Okay. Can anybody hear me now? Okay. Can anybody hear me now?
We must all make our choices.
Alright, I'm hoping now that everything has been fixed. Except now I hear myself. Why do I hear myself now? Alright. Hopefully that fixed it. Yes, I no longer hear myself, which means I think I fixed my problem. Welcome, everybody. I apologize for some technical difficulties. Obviously, we're learning all together. Let's really quick. This draft has mostly gone on without any form of commentary, so let's go ahead and really talk about this draft right now. Blue side, red side. It looks like the ending teams back and forth in the draft is going to be a Mordekaiser in the top lane, Belvath in the jungle. I'm going to assume it's the Heimerdinger in the mid lane with a Sivir Maokai bot and support going up against a what presumed to be a Poppy in the top lane, Rek'Sai in the jungle, a Nivea mid with the Caitlyn Lux in the bot lane. I think the key things that I'll observe in terms of the picks and bans is it looks like Blue Side really wanted to make sure that this new karma that a lot of people have been seeing is not something they had to dealt with. Obviously, it's coming from the red side, especially with Tobexlol playing. Made sure Singe is definitely off the table. A kind of a some would say a one trick, but I would say a master champion that nobody in the PMLCS currently likes to see in their regular games. So right now they're preparing their loadouts. However, we are gonna go ahead and get ourselves that spectator delay. So momentarily we will be jumping into the actual game. Thank you to everybody that is here watching the stream. Again, this is the PMLCS Season 14 Combines. This is day 2. Yesterday we had 3 good games on stream, and then I think there was 1 or 2 even afterwards. Today we're looking for another good set of games to go through. Let's just see how everything is going to flow on out. go ahead and I'm gonna make sure to take care of some settings, especially.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
All right. Looks like there were some differences, although let me double check. I'm not actually sure where some of these champions are going. Initially, I thought it was going to be a Mordekaiser in the top lane and a Heimerdinger in the mid lane. Based on their 5-point defense, it would imply that
Minions
Mordekaiser is
have
in fact
spawned.
going to be our mid laner for today, piloted by the almighty Zeke, um, going into that Anivia matchup. Meanwhile, that Heimerdinger is looking to hover to be the top lane position to go into that Poppy. Obviously, that Heimerdinger into that Poppy matchup is going to be really pressureful on Balls Aldrin, piloting the Poppy, as Tolbek Slow picking the Heimerdinger into that kind of probably a lane swap, after matchups were identified. Um, is going to get a lot of extra poke that a number of people are not going to be able to see to the same degree. So we do expect a lot of poke. You got the triple turrets right now hiding in that middle bush into the top lane. As goes through, obviously, Ganween and the Almighty Zeke are going to be doing some trade in the mid lane between the Mordekaiser and the Anivia. Junglers being Rek'Sai, so let's just run down the whole list. We have Heimerdinger in the top lane, piloted by Tolbexlol. Belveth in the jungle, Belveth in the jungle, but piloted by Frontlash. The Almighty Zeke, of course, getting some good trades on that Anivia. A little in favor of the Anivia, but Mordekaiser does have a little. Dorian is piloting the Sivir in the bot lane with No Not November on the Maokai. Of course, Maokai just had to burn his flash in the bot lane to escape that binding. Normally, Morgana Caitlyn is the bot lane that you would mostly fear. However, Lux Caitlyn can do a lot of the same stuff. The Almighty Zeke is going to go on to Ganwing. Looks like the passive is not going to take down the Anivia. Anivia is able to walk away with her life, although Anivia is sticking down, does get the level up, does get the Rude on the Q, and is able to trade some damage, so lots of volatility in that mid lane, both low targets. I would not be surprised to see either jungler rotating towards to defend their respective mid laner. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, we're going to get a little bit of a push out from Mammoth and I Am High Ground, kind of poking out that Maokai. You got a typical range and a melee support. Um, and they're going to try to poke out because ultimately, and even Sivir herself is not the most poking of 80 carries, kind of wants a few items, would like to wait a little bit. But while we're in this semi-pause, although this is PMALCS, there's always going to be fighting. Let's run through the other team. You have Balls Aldrin in the top lane on the Poppy. Scary in the jungle with on the Rek'Sai. Ganween currently on that Anivia with a sliver of health. Let's see how greedy she does and stays in lane. Mammoth on the 80 carry, although there's now a fight into the jungle as Scary walks right into that Belveth. Grouped by the Lux. Q1, Q2, and Lux is able to clean it up, but a trade kill for the Maokai onto the Rek'Sai. They're going to continue to fight here in the tri-bush. I am in the high ground, getting low, has to flash over the wall. Does unfortunately meet a Mordekaiser into the Dragon Pit, currently empty, but that is able to be a cleanup onto the Mordekaiser. Some good. Mammoth is having to run away, and unfortunately behind enemy lines, Sivir is able to get the chase down. That is a 3-for-1 total trade. One kill going on the mid laner, the ADC, and the support, all 1-for-1. So a little gold spread out through, and unfortunately it does put blue side into an early gold lead. So we'll see what they can do with that particular gold lead. Finishing off, I already said their names, I already said their champions, but of course you have Mammoth on the Caitlyn in the ADC role with I Am the High Ground piloting that Lux right now. Both of them, of course, being a bit of a thing. Mordekaiser does get stuck behind the Anivia wall, and Mordekaiser says, okay, I'm going to go at you. Does back off and does get a little poke. So it's quite interesting that the blue side, based on my normal expectation of what plays mid, what plays top. Obviously, these guys are going to know a lot different than I am. But it's interesting that we went for this swap, putting the Heimer in the top and the Mordekaiser in the mid, because that puts two scenarios of the same cookie, and that is a range on melee matchup. that both laners, being the Mordekaiser and the Poppy, are going to have to deal with being relatively poked out at a lot of times. And we'll see who's going to wind up getting the upper hand as this game goes further.
Blue team double kill.
There we go. My voice is 10% volume. That's really funny because for a while I was afraid my voice was going to be far too loud. So let's go ahead and increase the decibel of my particular voice, and hopefully that does that. So chat, go ahead and let me know if that does sound a little bit better as we go through. What I didn't get to commentate on is those 3 kills that they were able to determine in the bot lane. Looks like translated into even more kills around the map, and was able to turn into a dragon, being the Ocean Drake, first dragon for the blue team. As Scary on the Rek'Sai is going to be able to trade and try to get all those void grubs in the top jungle.
Smaller than the diagram.
Your feedback of your voice. Yes, I do have stream open on my desktop, and I probably forgot to mute that. Primarily, I did that so I could hear and make sure my own voice was covering through on the... But I, of course, will close that, so that's not a problem anymore. As we do have some skirmishing in the back lane, obviously I apologize for these early technical issues, but obviously I've made some really good kills, and right now it is very clear that the blue side is in the driver's seat of this one, especially with the Mordekaiser having a 3-0 Mordekaiser in the mid lane, a 2-0 Sivir in the bot lane, and obviously based on the kills, based on the extra death of a Rek'Sai, extra death of a Rek'Sai and extra death of Lux, who was probably right before that dragon fight. Meanwhile, it does seem Heimerdinger was able to get 2. If I missed it, I hope Toby's listening and he is able to capture that and make sure to put it in his draft me post, because obviously very good play. No November is forced to give the Maokai ult for zoning to prevent some of this poking that is regularly happening in the bot lane. Bot lane is having to deal with on the blue side this poke, and this poke we're gonna see how it goes. Itemization, hopefully the Maokai is gonna get some more beef and able to go through it, but if Caitlyn Lux is able to get these pokes, even if they're behind on gold, poke is able to give you some opportunity to get some clean in objectives. Meanwhile, speaking of poke, Balls Aldrin is trying to hit the Heimerdinger, but in fact of the matter, there are these herds in the back, and they're just probably making his life a little more difficult than he was planning for. Although, right now, we are approaching the 10-minute mark. We are going to look at gold, look at items to see where everything is. We do have favorability in the top lane. Heimerdinger by about 1k, 500 for the Bel'Veth. Meanwhile, speaking of Bel'Veth, Bel'Veth does come into the bot lane, is able to engage, is able to clean up on the Lux, able to get some of those infinite passive stacks. As she slips away, Caitlyn is able to go through, and it did cost Caitlyn her flash and her ghost, along with Lux's flash. That's 2 flashes and a ghost, all for that Bel'Veth gang, so really very much worth it. Of course, we started talking about golden items. Right now, it is clearly a almost 5K league. As Rek'Sai is able to make the flash onto the Heimerdinger, is able to get the kill, but the turret is able to get the trade back kill with the stun. That's that's really rough. It's obviously good for the Poppy. Poppy can have a little bit of a control of her own lane. Unfortunately, Heimer now is going to come back, and actually he's going to come back with a full Rylai's crystal, Rylai's, which is not only going to add to the poke value, but that's going to add slows to those poke values. So now Poppy did have a great buy right off the bat, getting that Spectre's Cowl early and often, because there is going to be a lot of value to that. However, we're gonna see how this continues on. Poppy is able to back, being a little CS down. Lux seems to be behind enemy lines, unfortunately, and that is gonna be a pile up by the Mordekaiser, Maokai, and Bel'Veth as they are clearing out vision in the red side of the jungle. I presume that is a setup for get these objective timers up. I presume that's a setup for an objective later, although Rek'Sai, meanwhile, tried to get the Void Grubs himself, and Heimerdinger came through and said, no. These Void Grubs now belong to me, belong to my turrets, and you can go back to the fountain. And of course, there's the Heimer taking it. Maokai, of course, has shifted up to help do some tanking to keep Heimerdinger healthy. Although they are, between the two of them, they're not taking the Void Grubs as fast. Rek'Sai could come back to see if he can get something, maybe take one. No, it looks like Rek'Sai is just going to stick to his camp clear. Heimerdinger is going to get the second one. Bel'Veth is on the scene, making sure to get the good cleanup onto that third one. So great play by the blue side, by Frontlash being on both sides of the map. Of course, now that vision is coming into play on the bot side in front of the dragon. But Mordekaiser right now behind enemy lines. Let's see if he's not gonna get entirely punished for it. Does get a little extra pick. But he does have a Sivir with him, but right now it is a 2v4. Luxalt does come through. Sivir is forced to use her flash to get away. Meanwhile, Mordekaiser is in the middle of the whole team trying to do some fights, but it looks like he's actually going to get stuck right in the middle, stuck up between the Lux Q, the Caitlyn trap. That's a lockdown Mordekaiser, and that, I believe, is a shutdown gold. Yes, that's a 300 shutdown gold onto the Caitlyn. So that's actually some pretty good gold back in the pocket. The gold lead is still a 5K gold. However, starting to get some gold in the right pocket, specifically that Caitlyn. Rek'Sai does have a kill to her own name. Excuse me. We're gonna see how this develops. Of course, we're looking at gold. We can look at the CS leads going on right now. Right now, it's generally in the favor of the blue side, and that's in all lanes right now. Some bigger than others. Rek'Sai did step up. Is gonna get the Maokai flash along with the twisted advance. Is gonna get the ult. Oh, those cats are so adorable. Maokai's gonna get the hook and get the slam. The Rek'Sai is unfortunately gonna fall. Meanwhile, Heimerdinger is continuing his oppression in the top lane. Obviously, Poppy has been able to buy some good valued MR along with everything her Steadfast is able to provide, but that is a lot of poke in the lane, and hopefully she can get some help from somewhere on the team. Although right now, at this state of the game, when you're talking about it, when all lanes are bleeding a little bit, including the jungle lane, I put that in quotes, we're going to see where it goes. That is that deadly combo. Lux Q into Caitlyn trap, into Ace in the hole, into a shutdown. That is a 150 shutdown into it. Meanwhile, Rek'Sai and Poppy are able to engage and clean up that Heimerdinger, who's probably pushed up a little farther than he should have. But good damage on the turrets, and we're still looking at a 4K gold lead. It's shrinking a hair, but it is still unfortunately there. Right now, it does look like Bel'Veth right now is looking at the bot lane as Sivir and Maokai are reapproaching the lane. Lux does try to blind check a book, does do the flash. Q, alt, and Bel'Veth is able to provide enough damage, take down that Lux, go on the killing spree, I believe I heard, and is now have a 300 bounty on her own head. As it looks like there's a Heimerdinger TP towards the top river. Let's see if that's just for aggression or if that's a look at the current Rift Herald. Right now, with Lux reapproaching, Lux redirecting now, it is a 4v5 onto that Rift Herald with Caitlyn Maokai in the bot lane versus, Sivir Maokai in the bot lane versus the Caitlyn. It's a 2v1. That means it is a 4v3 on the other side of the map. Well, it's a 3v3 until Lux shows up, and in fact, it looks like we're going to have a smite fight. Rek'Sai. Scary is able to control it. Rek'Sai is able to get poked out significantly by the Bel'Veth and damage from the Mordekaiser. Lux shows up just on time. Meanwhile, Poppy is forced to flash out of the pit to get away from the Mordekaiser. Bel'Veth, Heimerdinger are on the pursuit. Let's see if she's able to get out with her life. And in fact, the Bel'Veth is the one that overextends, does get taken down, and that is another shutdown, this one on the Rek'Sai. So we already got two shutdowns on the Caitlyn, now one on the Rek'Sai. If Red Side was looking for an opportunity to come back into this game, they are now starting to stack these pieces together. Obviously, looks like we're going back to, I'll say, a semi-normal state once this Poppy resets. The Maokai and the Sivir, of course, in the bot lane. No Not November is looking for positioning in these bot lanes, see if they want to do some fighting. Levels across the board, I'm looking at levels across the board. We seem to be pretty level. Nobody has too much. Slight advantage to the Rek'Sai compared to the Bel'Veth. And I imagine it is not that much difference. A lot of stuff, of course, happening on this one. Right now, objective timers, checking them out. Right now, we have the next dragon up, which the next dragon, I believe, is an infernal dragon, making this an infernal. So, yes, I've seen these cinders all over the map being picked up by various players. Lux is able to land her Q. Maokai, once again, forced to defensively assault. Sivir, unfortunately, does get caught on a trap. And that was an engage by the Rek'Sai. Bel'Veth is coming in on the flank. Looks like Bel'Veth is trying to go, see if she can get onto the AD carry. Does try to settle for the Lux, but unfortunately the damage is too high. Is able to get fully poked out. Maokai is able to, tries to deliver the Caitlyn to the Mordekaiser, but a flash denies that. That, of course, is the flash out of the Caitlyn. Very important summoner spell that the team is going to try to track between now and then. Meanwhile, Balls Aldrin is doing everything he can versus Tobexlo's Heimerdinger just to try to not get completely abused. But here comes Ganween coming up to the top lane, providing that help that he needs. And that's not because it's just based on kit. Poppy has a really hard time against these really, really pokey lanes unless you can get on top of it. That is the burn of the Ghost from the Caitlyn to get away from the Mordekaiser. We're going to see if Scary does look around for any type of wraparound of re-engage. Looks like he's going to try to clear some vision, but does not want to fight the Mordekaiser, does not get captured. Meanwhile, Caitlyn is providing a lot of that extra poke. Mordekaiser does go in. TP coming in from I presume the Poppy. But that was right before the Caitlyn and Rek'Sai were able to take down the Mordekaiser because that Mordekaiser ult was in fact down. Taking that little bit of water break as Bel'Veth and the Poppy are going ahead and fight. Rek'Sai's there too. Bel'Veth is able to get out. Rek'Sai ult go on the chase, and that is a killing spree onto the Rek'Sai. So remember that 5k gold lead? That 5k gold lead is now gone. It is now a 300k, not a 300k, a 300 gold lead. And looking across it, whatever advantage you think that Mordekaiser had, any advantage you thought the Heimerdinger had, Rek'Sai and Caitlyn have now completely dismissed that. Although there was now a shutdown onto the Sivir, and that seemed to have swung the gold back into a favor on Blue's side. Lux is using the ultimate to get rid of that minion wave to prevent any additional poke onto the turret. Generally not that too much bad about this time. That Lux ult should have a cooldown somewhere between 60 and 45 seconds. Rek'Sai is able to find the flank onto the Sivir. Sivir does flash, but it is not far enough. Meanwhile, blue team is going to try to focus and take down this dragon, this infernal dragon, which will make dragon number 3 for them on their stacking. They have gone off the dragon to fight in the river. The Mordekaiser fighting, and I believe he's actually in the Death Realm based on the shadowing. And Belveth is able to secure the dragon. That is 3 dragons for blue team. Ace in the hole does try to go on the Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser did have a final shield, able to prevent it. Heimerdinger gets a turret on the mid lane. Nivea is able to do a cleanup on that side of the map. Does unfortunately fall, goes into egg. Caitlyn is trying to help the mid laner, but that front lash is able to absorb the Anivia's soul and is able to get extra health and remain healthy in this fight. Right now, teams looks like both sides are kind of licking their wounds a little bit. Kill score, it is a 5 kill advantage on blue side. And that turns out, looks like it to be about a 3.5, 3.4k gold lead. But we've already seen that gold lead can very much disappear. The fact of the matter is it all comes down to a lot of items. Looks like they did eventually have to drop that Rift Herald. Doesn't look like they got much value out of that Rift Herald drop. It will be taken out before it gets an opportunity to get to a turret. The reality is ever since they've gotten that turret, I don't think Red team has even really gotten chances to hit the turret, except for whatever poke is in the bot lane, and Rek'Sai has not even remotely been on that side of the map. Looks like we got some vision being cleared, some posturing being set up. Right now we've got red buffs up for both teams. Right now, one's being cleared by the Belveth. The Baron is technically up, but it's a little early for either of these teams to take the Baron. Probably both could if they were isolated, but no, we're not really playing for anything. Poppy is trying to go in on the Heimerdinger, but that poke is just too much between the pokes and the slows and the Rylais. That's just a little too much. However, Rek'Sai is on that side of the map with a 50% health Heimerdinger. Poppy does try to get the Heimerdinger in the wall, is unable to. That is a flash, that is a chomp, and that is a dead Heimerdinger by the hands of the Rek'Sai. Probably Heimerdinger was a little overextended, but it's very clear that Heimerdinger, intentional or unintentional, is playing a very high pressure role in this matchup. Just trying to make sure, because between the two of them, I whether it's intentional or not, really he's stopping Poppy from being able to come in. I think there's a lot of cases that Poppy would rather be with her team. She'd be rather using her W to stop Belveth dashes, stop the Maokai engages, but right now she can't. She's stuck in the side lane, making sure Heimerdinger does not get every turret for free. And that gold lead is starting to diminish a little bit. We're only talking about 2,000 gold lead, and that seems to be spread amongst. Poppy does use her ult to make sure Belveth does get out. Unfortunately, that ult does put Belveth right on top of Poppy's support. There is a Rek'Sai up here at the top again. Rek'Sai is going under the Heimerdinger. Zhonya's is breach. Heimerdinger has gone golden. They are able to execute it, but now Belveth was able to return the kill on the Poppy. Rek'Sai is able to ult, deny Belveth from continuing to hit him. Caitlyn is able to come in and get that cleanup kill. So as we look, we're looking at exactly a 2k gold as Maokai and Sivir are trying to poke down that mid lane. Right now, turret standings pretty even right now. I would say right now it's a 1 turret advantage on blue side. Meanwhile, Anivia is in her jungle and it is no longer safe. Trying to stay there. Blue side has moved into the jungle. Pigs are coming in, targeting that Infernal Drake, which will be up in 45 seconds. As it looks like blue side is posturing, led of course by the Mordekaiser, with Maokai right there being the support, dropping the vision, and Sivir providing the DPS. They are currently clearing out whatever vision Lux was able to pop in. The ultimate is dropped, and that does chunk the Sivir down to 2/3 health. We'll see how that affects her positioning into this inevitable upcoming team fight that's already started, because Mordekaiser is currently fighting against the Poppy and the Rek'Sai simultaneously. Looks like he's in the Death Realm. I'm having trouble seeing. I believe I was in the Death Realm with the Poppy specifically. As right now they are trying to get some reposturing. Another Luxall. Remember that Luxall is coming up fast. We just saw it, and there was a second one. Is a continuation of the fight. Right now, Heimerdinger is down. Belveth is down. That is a 2 for 0. And it looks like blue side is gonna back away from this dragon and let the red side take this dragon. They've officially stopped the dragon stacking, stopped the opportunity of the soul,
Red team has slain the
and
dragon.
has now taken their own first dragon to try to get themselves back in the game. Right now, this gold lead is down to a 1,000k gold lead, or 1,000k, a 1,000 gold lead or a 1k gold lead, and depending on how you prefer to say it. And looking across at the gold, it's a Rek'Sai has a lead of about 2,000. Caitlyn has a lead of about 1,000. Heimerdinger has a lead of about 2,000 over his lane opponent. Uh, and that's about it. That lead, and a Maokai looks like he has about an 800 to 1,000 lead. That Mordekaiser that did have a lead early, that lead has been unfortunately been neutralized with respect to his lane opponent. Some of it has to do with CS, some of it just has to do with the way some of these later fights have gone through.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Right now, just checking out the map, looking to see where the posturing is. Uh, Maokai does unfortunately fall into the Caitlyn trap that she blind puts in that particular bush. Is spotted on Vision right now. Vision, ace in the hole, flash from the Sivir to make sure to get behind the No Not November to block that ace in the hole. Scuttle Crab did just arrive at the Baron Pit, so it looks like Blue Side is going to take that Scuttle Crab to make sure to get some clear vision. That Scuttle Crab spotted a lot of vision. Meanwhile, Mordekaiser is going to take a 2-on-1 on versus the Rek'Sai and the Anivia and falls. We're seeing where the posturing is now. Maokai does get caught out. There goes the... Ooh. That was a Kate. Looked like, I believe that was, in fact, that was not the Caitlyn ult. That was a Caitlyn Q, but that was the Lux ult, the Anivia wall, the Anivia, I'll say crit that her E gives when someone is captured by the Q. And it looks like Red side is now going to go for this Baron, especially after that last little pick of gold. Gold is even now, so this Baron power play is something that's going to come in favor of red side now. Although Heimerdinger is in the area, does try to take the Baron or at least do some serious damage. Looks like red side is simply just going to back away, and now we have a 2k gold lead for the red side now that they have equalized kills, stopped the Drake stacking, took the Baron, and they are coming back into this game. Does look like Lux was able to use a cheeky alt steal and take away that red buff from the Belveth. Meanwhile, Rek'Sai isn't able to engage. Heimerdinger is not too far behind. They were a little pushed up too far into the red side jungle and have been punished between the Lux ultimate, the Poppy engage, the Rek'Sai ultimate. That is some serious damage. Maokai is engaging. Looks like he is putting his ult in the bot lane. Mordekaiser is able to get eye on the high ground on the Lux, puts Lux into the Death Realm. So right now it is just Mordekaiser and Lux in the Death Realm. He is able to defeat her, but pops right out, right in front of the Rek'Sai for a really solid kill. Meanwhile, Maokai is running away. Ace in the hole is not enough to take out the Maokai as they are trying to run away and get out of here. Back off. Meanwhile, Anivia is pushing the bot lane. With those Baron empowered minions, double Baron empowered cannon minions right now, really doing some damage on that turret. Poppy, meanwhile, is engaging on top of that Sivir into the top lane, getting some really good advantage out of that. The new item, the Kinetic Rookin. I always forget the name of that one, but obviously getting some really good value for Poppy. Unfortunately, the Poppy did get hit by that last turret shot. So, unfortunately, she got a different type of reset, and I believe that reset gold was on Sivir.
Rampage.
Smaller than the diagram.
Apologies right there. We can talk about that later because I seem
Blue
to always
team's
have that
inhibitor has been
problem.
destroyed.
But anyways, red team is able to take out two inhibitor turrets, two inhibitors in the mid lane and the bot lane, and they are backing up and they are going to continue this stack into the drag. Looks like they're going to continue this stack into the dragons. And they are going to take this second Infernal Dragon for themselves. Although Belveth is right here in the shadows. We'll see if she tries anything fancy. Does try to go in for the 50-50 type meal, unfortunately does not. It is the Rek'Sai cure, and Belveth thus traded her life. That is now a 40-second timer that Belveth is not on the field anymore. Looks like Blue Side is going to start to turtle a little bit with the stacking dragons, with the current 6,000 gold lead in the favor of Team Red. Let's all remind ourselves that at the early in the game, uh, Blue Side, specifically that Mordekaiser, came out to a really early, powerful 3 kills. And that was really slinging them forward for a bit. But it seems there has been a shift in power in this game in the favor of Red Side. And as it looks like they're going to set up some form of primarily top push, as super minions are naturally pushing both the mid lane and the bot lane simultaneously. Caitlyn and Lux are in the top lane. Poppy looks to be escorting those mid laners. Of course, the Baron, empowered Baron, is down. Maokai is able to throw out that ultimate, and Heimerdinger is able to come through. Let's see. Heimerdinger does go golden, does stop.
Killing spree.
Maokai is forced to engage onto the Caitlyn. Heimerdinger is alive. Caitlyn is able to take out the Belveth, follows up with a single shot onto the Heimerdinger. Is able to make the triple kill onto. Meanwhile, Scary is able to. Mordekaiser has pulled the Nivea into the Death Realm. Right here, right outside the bait. Looks like the wall is going to be just enough. She does go to Egg Nivea form. Let's see if she's able to come up. Rek'Sai is able to get in there, buy enough time. It's not enough time, unfortunately. But Poppy does now show up, and now we have two hitting the free Nexus. This is likely going to be game. Unless Maokai can make a stand of all stands. Balls Aldrin said, I'm not going to wait for the Maokai engage. I'm engaging myself. They're going to take it out. Maokai is able to get back to the fountain, get some health up. But now there are no more turrets except for the one protecting the somewhat redundant inhibitor on the top side. That is the Nexus, and that is the game. So, apologize for that delay in that one team fight. Somebody might want to advise me on the best thing. Whenever the game seems to end, so that blip was when the game ends, and for whatever reason, my client always minimizes what I'm spectating, minimizes the actual game, and pops up the scoreboard. Or at least tries to. I don't always let it. But it still tries. Alright. I hope everybody enjoyed what they're watching so far. That was a really solid another Combine game. Definitely some highlight reels for captains to pay attention to on both sides. Uh, definitely very good on the red side. Almighty Zig and Front Lash able to provide that really good early game pressure. Um, very good with Toblex Lowell, able to provide a constant top lane pressure, making Poppies on the Balls Aldrin life just miserable. Good props to Bald Aldrin for uh, someone has stream volume on echoing cast. Someone mentioned that earlier. I thought I had turned that off. I no longer have volume going on with the stream. It might be something in my audio settings. I'll finish up quick. Uh, props to the balls, Aldrin, on the poppy, able to stay under that poking lane and be able to maintain. And obviously, between Mammoth on the Caitlyn and Scary on the Rek'Sai, able to turn that game around, going from a 5K deficit to that 5-6K lead after that last Baron. So great highlights around. Uh, Captains, take notes. There are some really good players in this game that you need to make sure you are drafting, and double check and make sure you're drafting them into these roles, or you make sure you're drafting them into another role. I am now going to double check my audio settings. Yeah, my own stream is muted. I'm going to check my Streamlabs. I do appreciate everyone's. I'm going to make sure I didn't just overdo myself. That. Yeah, I'm not sure what the echo anybody else is experiencing. Um, I do know at times I can have somewhat of a stutter, so that might be coming through. But at some point, I will have to figure out exactly what I'm doing. I would not call myself an expert in the streaming department. I would call myself a nature Dan who just does stuff because it sounds fun. All right. Go ahead and change over just the general intro page. I do know there should be a second game. So, if you are here on the Twitch and you want to play and you are playing in this upcoming split, you should make sure to maybe jump onto our Discord and see if you can. And if by chance you're on here, you didn't get to sign up for this split, although I don't know how that's possible. We have a beautiful 65. Yes, that is four shy of a really nice number, 65 players that have currently signed up for the split. This, of course, being our what's referred to as our split divisions split, which means we will have 6 teams in the upper division. Generally, the whole board's available, but those 6 teams will draft teams first, and those 6 teams will kind of play in their own division. Generally, those are the brothers in the Masters, Diamonds, Emerald, Plat um, divisions within League of Legends, and then there will be 7 teams in a lower division, and those teams will definitely have whoever isn't drafted in the first one, so might have a few plats, but mostly it's going to be gold, silver, bronze in this lower division. Now, of course, I say that, and we all know we have seen some great players that are gold or silver get drafted in that upper division, and jokes on everybody else, they always manage to play well. And the board is just so chalk that there is easily a chance that someone else could have opportunity. Yeah, I'm actually gonna see. If you haven't checked out the draft board yet, please make sure to check out that draft board, and you can see exactly how stacked this group is. Oh, let me get down to spectate so I don't stand in other people's way that are right now getting drafted. Friendly reminder: everybody that's in kind of signs up. The next 10 guys up will step into the lobby. 2 captains will be identified. They'll draft back and forth, try to get some balanced teams, and try to get as many players as possible on one of the positions that they are, in fact, trying out the league for. So if you're not involved in that, go get involved in that. Although I'm pretty sure the fact that I'm looking at close to 1, 2, 3, 5, close to 15 guys, and I see 13 guys here in the stream, would lead me to believe that everybody here is a fact of the matter involved. But regardless, thank you for coming out. Thank you for supporting the stream. Thank you for playing in the split. This looks to be a lot of fun this season. Um, Quick backtrack reintroduction since we've got a lot more people on. Those who don't know, my name is Nature Dan. I'm one of the admins this year in the PMA Riot Games. I'm the treasurer this year, and also I have been playing in the PMLCS for quite a while. Just love coming out, watching everybody play, uh, just having a ball. Or a frisbee if that's your preferred play style. I'm going to go ahead and go on mute for a little bit while the teams get slided. Once we do start drafting, I will pull up that draft and I'll start getting right in there. But for now, I'm going to take a minute break. I have learned I cannot figure out how to get ads to go. I seem to have had a problem with my Streamlabs login, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. So just enjoy a little peace and quiet. And we are back. Welcome back, everybody. It looks like the teams that are currently set up are getting themselves in their respective role order. So, it looks like they're getting in respective role order. So before I lose that role order, I'm gonna rally it off, roll it off, so people know. We have Lippy in the top lane, Scary in the jungle, Corn in the mid lane, Buttasaurus in the bot lane with I Am High Ground as the support, facing off against Mammoth in the top lane, Balls Aldrin in the jungle, Raylu in the mid lane, the Dorian at ADC, and Hook My Book in the support role. So, looks like some really good teams are about to get themselves facing off. Just poking right now the teams, advising them that if they're chit chatting back and forth, they could also start the draft and continue to chat. Although we are streaming tonight, I'm hoping the games are not going to be too late this evening, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Obviously, compared to the first one, it is going to be a draft style. Of course, I intend on having fewer difficulties, so I will be able to get that second draft. Uh, There we go, and we are in fact in the draft. So let me get this lay correct and make sure that is now streaming. There we go. A little off kilter, but anybody with OCD will unfortunately have to deal with it because I can't figure out why it's a little off kilter. But right now, it looks like we're setting ourselves up, starting with a Zoe band for the blue side. As we get these early bands going, again, a great first match of the evening for the Combine. Look forward to seeing what this particular match is going to be showing. Some power junglers currently taking off the boards. A lot of those assassiny junglers taking off the board. Scary did show on the previous game a dominant in terms of the rec side, picking off targets that were isolated. So obviously making sure Eve cannot do the same thing as a preference for the team. And Nocturne, of course, in respect to Balls Aldrin, I have been on the wrong side of that Nocturne from Balls Aldrin before, and I can tell you from personal experience, it hurts. As we go through, we're going to finish up the bands with an Amumu band, just a PMLCS staple that could be pointed at the jungle or the support role, depending on flavor. And there goes Korn's Yasuo, which is that's a really good pickup. So good thing to keep that off the table, not letting that even be an option right now for in these games. And of course, we got a first pick as a Maokai. Right now, that Maokai, technically a Maokai is a triple flex right now in the current meta, able to play top lane, jungle, or support. So Uh, Although I'll be completely honest, it doesn't feel like a scary jungler. Just doesn't feel as. However, he easily could be showing some team captains that he has a very versatile pool. Ezreal does come through for the red team. Good poke and the karma. Last night, Malcolm was joining me on the stream, and we were fanboying over this karma pick. Right now, there is a I'll say an off meta because it's not a regular pick, but a karma top lane. This item Malignance is just absolutely ridiculous on the karma. It lets her be nice and tanky, but also do some serious damage. So I'm curious to see if this is going to be a karma support, a karma mid, or a karma top. Um, does look like we then turn around with the Melio. It was a Draven hover, but we'll see what Buttasaurus wants in terms of his AD carry. And it is a pick onto the Aphelios, so we got a Melio Aphelios in the bot lane, facing off with the Ezreal, and we will see what other champion is going to match as a support role. It easily could be that Karma, so I would not be surprised, but it also easily could be a different champion that is not the Karma. It is definitely not the Karma, as we do see a Blitzcrank support being picked. And now we go on to the second phases of bans. Um, Likely we're looking at a Maokai top. So my first gut reaction is going to say we're looking at top ADC support for both sides, although it, the blue team does not agree with that as they took off another top laner, the Ornn, probably assuming that Karma is going to be in the mid lane. So a desync is perceived by the blue team of Karma mid, thus the Ornn ban, or maybe they're banning the Ornn thinking they want the Karma to go in the top lane. As we get our second ban underway, that is a Tom Kench being taken away, which if that's a Tom Kench ban, that implies they think that Maokai is not actually going top, but Maokai is actually going in the jungle, which again is a very it's a very flexible champion, a flexible pick. They continue their banning by banning out their own top laner in the Malphite. Uh, a Malphite is a PMALC, a staple, able to just hit the go button, and another top lane ban. Um, excuse me, and another top lane ban in the eyes of in the Camille. So both teams not suspecting that neither one has picked their top laner yet. Um, so we'll see where the rest of this does go down. Yeah, the assumption is based on the ban. So that is now a Twisted Fate pick. So actually, the Twisted Fate pick makes me think mid lane, which makes me think that Karma is in fact a Karma top, which makes those bans we saw there have a little less value because, or the Karma was always meant to be a flex, in which case the bans are the reason the Karma's going top. Some people generally end up big braining each other, and some of us managed to big brain ourselves. And it looks like a Vi for the jungle is picked up, which would imply the Maokai now is going to be a top. So I do expect to see a mid laner here from the blue side. So Korn's pick is the last one to be it, and will be going. He knows it will be going into a Twisted Fate. So I'm curious to see what he has in store for us this evening. And it is going to be a Swain in the mid lane. And then on the flip side, jungle is the only role I have not seen yet. Does they do know they're going into a Vi jungler? Um, Based on win rates, I would be curious to see a Xin Zhao here. A Lee Sin would not be the worst thing in the world. Maybe a Lilia, but no. Balls Aldrin goes back to a very comfortable pick of his that he's used in the past with the Sejuani. Of course, that Sejuani is going to synergize pretty well with the Blitzcrank, right? Because Blitzcrank's going to pull in, get that nice Nice, beautiful auto. Extra auto for the proc. Sejuani is going to provide a very good front line, and that's a front line that should be able to go prevent the Vi from getting good engages. Uh, should be able to do some good soak up against the Swain's consistent damage. Doesn't have to worry about the Maokai. That Maokai top is gonna be a little bit. I doubt it's a Maokai AP top, so it is gonna do a little bit of an extra wet noodle fight. Oh, it looks like something happened, and someone left. Looks like we are jumping into a new lobby. Okay, everybody, it looks like there were some misclicks in the draft. Both teams have backed up. Looks like we are just going to enter a 5v5 blind pick, which will allow everybody basically to pick their champion already. So we don't have to worry about any additional time. We will, of course, still have the 5-minute spectator delay, so they're going to do it. So they are gonna do another opportunity at this drafting. Just a blind pick, just so everybody picks their champ real quick. So it looks like there were a few misclicks. So it looks like there was intention for Jace to be in the mid lane instead of the Swain. Uh, Based on order of the champions, it might have been an availability. Not every brother has every single champion. That's the one of the risks of the tournament draft, but that's perfectly okay. Um, just kind of waiting to see everybody lock in. One person's holding on, letting everybody else get a chance to redo their match. So of course, in blind pick, once that last champion is picked, the client will literally go straight to the 10-second countdown. So giving everybody a few extra seconds. And we are now loading into this game. And we are on the spectator delay, so I'm going to give just a quick 2 minutes for everybody and go mute for a second as we take that spectator delay, and we'll be right back.
Brother Dan. Brother Dan.
Hey, Malcolm, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good, good. Well, we are about to enter the game. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I am sharing my stream
I would love that.
so you can see this. Also, that. Also, making sure my Streamlabs. I get my Streamlabs to capture the right game. Yeah, put that, put that, put that. League and game. The overlay. All right, and we're live. I assume
All
you can
right.
see everything good.
I can
Uh,
see everything just fine.
Awesome. Welcome to the stream. We're gonna see there was a solid 5 point, although with a blitzcrank, it looks like the red side is choosing to go
30
for that
seconds
bot
until minions
bush. We'll
spawn.
see how they do it. Aphelios Butasaurus having that sense of it seems to have decided to drop the ward in the let the ward take the face check and retreated to the pixel that is right by the raptor entrance. And of course, here comes the pings. That is all five. They do the sweep, so officially, right side
Minions have
is now ahead
spawned.
of the game. They have a gold lead. That's an official gold lead, and that's it. That's it. Red side won. Game over.
Yeah, so
Oop. Before we go too far, I need to change around my champions. Humorously enough, Malcolm, we talked about it before. Uh, we have a Karma top.
yeah, I'm liking it. I didn't wasn't here for draft, but I'm loving what I'm seeing. Yesterday I mentioned how I think Twisted Fate is like um, a secret OP champion. It's not for me. It's not a secret, but I didn't see it at all yesterday in the combines. But here I am, and I see really Hansu on the Twisted Fate. So I'm excited to see this mid lane matchup. Now Corrin, on the other hand, um, I caught him in a game, a random game. I think it might have been ranked. I'm not sure, but I was playing with a few friends, and Corn was on the enemy team, and halfway through the game, he's just killing this Darius over and over and over again on my team. Oh, knock up here in the bot lane, and that's what it's going to be. Half health for I am the high ground. Um, really losing out on that trade because of the blitz hook. So hook my book, doing what his name entails. But to wrap up that story about Corn, he went crazy on that Jace. Like he had 20 kills. He was so hard to kill, and they ended up winning that game. So, if it's anything like that, that's what we're leading to here with this Jace pick.
Well, I'll say the draft order. It was actually a very flexa draft, as there's an engage in the top lane. It's an interesting the way these top lane went. It was a Maokai first pick, and Ezreal Karma, and there's another Blitzcrank goes in. There is a flash on Buttasaurus to able to get out of there, but right now I'd say that trade goes in favor of the blue side because he's now getting the wave push. He's got the level. Ezreal and Blitzcrank are still level 2. So it was a Maokai first pick, Ezreal Karma second rotation to Aphelios Melio, and then it was the Twisted Fate making pick 3. So the Blitzcrank was pick 3. So both teams had the Maokai and the Karma at second phase of bans, but they all banned top laners, thinking the Karma was going mid and the Maokai was going jungle. So it's really interesting that those two champs wound up in the respective top lane because they were both early first picks.
Interesting.
And then at the end, it worked out that ultimately the Sejuani was a counter onto the Vi, because we saw the Vi earlier, and then the Jace was picked after the Twisted Fate. So this was Korn's pick in the Twisted Fate as he does engage into the mid lane. Fast gold card able to come out, get a good stun, get some good poke damage off. Speaking of poke damage, that Ezreal is a little low. I would say that Ezreal is somewhere between 15 to 20% health. Vi does choose to engage onto Balls Aldrin, is going to get a fast rotation from the Jace.
Although going to make a rotation first here, forcing the flash. Interesting.
Forcing both flashes, both the Jace flash and the Sejuani flash have been forced out. So, noting summoners, Vi does now get control of the bot scuttle. Sejuani was able to get control of the top scuttle.
So, in terms of this top side, I mean, we're going to see Vi. We're going to see Vi taking this drag, but Karma did force out a flash buy from Maokai, and so now you got two lanes that you can really add some extra pressure to and probably control for these grubs.
I'll give you one better. It's actually 3 lanes because a Blitzcrank hook dissuaded and forced the Aphelios flash. So you got your 3, I'll say, primaries, one in each lane, down a flash. But it doesn't entirely matter. Vi is able to focus and take down the dragon. Meanwhile, Jace is hovering the grubs.
Oh, an excellent hook here on the bot side. And Twisted Fate's going to come in, make a gank happen. We're going to stun up this Melio. He still forces the flash. That's going to be a death and first blood over Twisted Fate.
Interesting thing as I look at that Twisted Fate who had just backed, look at first items. That's an Aegis, which would imply Rod of Ages.
Yes, Rod of Ages. Honestly, to me, that's like you play Rod of Ages, Twisted Fate. I think it's pretty strong. You can elect to go the Luden's Echo, or no, it's not that anymore. The Luden's Companion, but still does, to me, it's like the same effect. I see the proc happen. But here we go. We're going to have Sejuani here in the top lane. Remember, there's no flash, but Mammoth is going to get rooted by the ultimate and a return kill over by Jace. He's going to come up here in the top lane and secure himself a double kill off the back of that top lane gank from the red squad.
Really good eyes on by Korn. No surprise, should be no surprise to anybody. But good eyes to identify that there was opportunity to get a little bit of cleanup in the top lane, get some gold into his pocket. Speaking of gold into his pocket, that does actually what's funny is the roam from the TF in the bot lane. Jace and TF, I would say, are within 50 gold of each other. That's a tie. And I guess I look at it in general. This is a
no flash here on the Aphelios.
Yes. There goes the Blitzcrank hook. Sejuani is here, able to get that extra stack up with the melee support. and that Aphelios is gone. That flash that happened before has now officially been
Up,
punished.
another
And
knock-up here. Is the blitz hook here? It has to be. You got time, don't you?
no, no,
Oh
no.
no,
It's
I
on
guess
it's
not.
on cooldown. He used it. He used the blitz hook on the Aphelios, and this early, that blitz hook is still going to be somewhere 16 to 18 seconds.
It had to have been just a couple more seconds. But Amelia gets out. That's a nice return kill on the bot side. I think as much as possible, you need to hammer the bot lane, get these flashes. I think Karma can handle her own in the top lane, just given the melee range matchup. Um, and to me, you're trying to utilize Twisted Fate's ultimate every single time it's up to make these bot lane ganks happen. You got the Blitzcrank for the picks, as you can see here, and the flash is forced out again. So it's really easy at this point. You can set up a 4-man dive here, okay? You got no flash on the ADC, no flash on the support. Look, right now we're seeing Sejuani set up a lane gank, and in the mid lane we do have the Twisted Fate ultimate. So looks like he's going to rotate up towards the top side, maybe put out some vision. Um, but I'm excited to see if the Sejuani is going to make a move here.
Yeah, and I'm aware of the Karma's damage, but I will tell you, I could be biased because Maokai is one of my favorite champions. But Maokai loves to build MR, and I'm realizing
Yes.
this team, this matchup, Maokai is almost incentivized to build MR. But not talking about Maokai, let's talk about the Sejuani instead in the bot lane, looking to some lane gank.
He's been sitting there for quite some time now. And the step up is going to happen. The wave is pushing back, and we're going to engage here on the Melio. A knockup's going to be attempted on the Philios, but just walking away, and Blitz takes a turret shot and ends up
Unfortunately,
dying.
I think there was a little bit of split targeting right there. Blitzcrank seemed to have gone on the Aphelios. Meanwhile, Sejuani went on to the Melio. I think if they would have hit the same target, whichever target it would have been, that would have been a dead target. But unfortunately, not only did they leave themselves in a precarious position, but a little low. Vi was able to come in and help secure an additional kill onto the Ezreal. So,
Yeah.
so a little misplay there. It did get punished. It did unfortunately get punished. But of course, friendly reminder: we're talking about the combines. These are players that may or may not have ever played together with each other. Meanwhile, speaking of playing together,
One,
Sejuani is right now doing
two.
it by
The
himself.
stun comes in. The auto doesn't follow.
Unfortunately, Felios does have white green, so that's going to be a lot of extra poke on the Sejuani, and Sejuani is basically being forced away.
I love how this Milio is just constantly throwing out these cues and just booping people back from their engages. It's exactly what you want to see. Protecting this ADC and supporting them. Well, how's this mid lane matchup looking? We got Jace with about 20 CS lead with a 20 CS lead. The Rod of Ages has been built on the TF though.
Here's the thing:
So
Jace has the shutdown. Jace has the 2 kill to 1 kill. Jace has the 2 lead. Gold is even. In fact, Gold's even a hair in favor of TF right now. So,
oh, wow, yeah, that's kind of crazy.
uh, remind me, doesn't TF have a passive of something that helps him get extra gold?
You know what? You're right. On his E, he gets bonuses, bonus gold for killing minions. Uh, so I guess that's where that lead is coming from. I mean, that's a nice little. Well,
Speaking of nice little things, that Blitzcrank hook was pure on spot. Aphelios was in just the wrong spot. Is able to put out the root, the alt
all right,
root.
Twisted Fate has ultimate. I think this is the angle where you look. That Aphelios was literally 1 HP. But just gonna try and make his way. It's so sad. I mean, you popped the ultimate. To me, the cooldown is relatively low. You know, to me, it's like an insta key. Um, Same thing for like a Nocturne. You know, you have that global ultimate. You have that ability to really just present yourself whenever, wherever you want to be, um, and you know, get yourself scaling ahead. Pick up that extra 300 gold. That Aphelios got lucky, I think there. Okay, Hook My Book's going to step up, try and make an effect happen. And here comes a TF ultimate from mid. And they're going to get the shutdown on the Jace. It's going to go over to Balls Aldrin on the Sejuani. And I think that's fine. You know, get the shutdown. You know, get your assist for your support and your mid laner, and you know, pick up something here on the map. Drake's up. You got the control ward in the pit, and you could probably stop this dragon stacking that we already see happening from the blue team.
Absolutely, I agree. And it looks like they're doing the blue team is doing just that, clearance of vision. And I'm going to see if they, yeah, Vi is sticking in the pit. She is going for that dragon, so we are going to get that second dragon for the blue side as the red team is resetting. I believe they will have enough damage. I'm going to override directed camera. Yeah, they do have enough damage. They are going to be able to secure it before red team even has a time. Good call on the resets. Good play on the resets. But now we are looking at what might be a 3v4 or a 4v4, depending on TF's time to get into it. There's a... Ooh.
The hook is close. It's very, very close.
That was a miss by a Teemo.
Oh, wow. Looky here. Vi's going to come through. Is going to set on the ultimate onto a Twist of Fate. Twist of Fate's going to try and kite back. Sejuani's going to tank it up. And right now, ooh, Jace is on the backside getting pulled by the Blitzcrank. Silenced by the ultimate. And this is going to be 2 kills over to the red team.
I love the passive on the Blitzcrank ultimate. That is clearly what took out was the last tick on the Jace.
the lightning shock.
Mm-hmm. The sporadic and random lightning shock.
Yes. What is it? Is it okay? You're gonna have to hopefully not criticize me too much because I don't play too much. A Smash ultimate. But like, is it down B, or sorry, down? Yeah, I think it's down B for the Pikachu.
Yes,
yes,
bolt. That's down B.
Mm-hmm.
That's Pikachu's
that's
down
what that
B.
reminds me of.
Thunder.
PK Fire. Okay.
You're good. You're good. Cross-referencing. We're on cross-reference. Aphelios, though, got the perfect got the perfect guns for a nice little skirmish there. Really dissuading the Sejuani from wanting to do that lane gank. Yeah, and like I said in this top lane, like, we know Karma does a lot of damage, and it's gonna be ugly when Karma gets one of those empowered Qs on the Vi or the Jace or the Aphelios. But versus the Maokai, this Maokai's got that full new magic resist item. He unfortunately, is not going to take much damage. Is doing some tanking as Jace does try to dive in. There is a TF ult. They have to back off, but that TF ult in fact goes in the bot lane as it is a 3v2.
He stuns the Vi.
Yeah, Vi is able to take the Ezreal down on the semi-dive, but it looks like Blitzcrank and TF are going to try. Blitzcrank does fall. It is just the TF now. Vi goes for the ultimate. Vi does not get the cleanup. The turret had just enough. I think there was that ramp damage on the second shot from the turret that was able to take Vi out, just by a hair.
Well, we're now seeing the strength of having 6 grubs. We're seeing a lot of pressure in most of all the lanes. Mid lane is going to get scared off here by a teleport and the Sejuani showing up, but Aphelios almost has his bot turret. It's also going to get scared away. So, but these grubs are doing work. If they can get some split pushing going, they can probably start controlling parts of this map and really continue their objective control. Also, surprised to see mid turret's gone. It really just disappeared there, all by itself with all these fights.
I don't think I know when mid-turn fell either, unfortunately.
I think it just fell by itself, to be honest.
It could have easily fallen any of the times that Jace roamed out. Speaking of Jace roaming, Jace is currently running out of his lane as he has
sidestep.
3 different members from the red team going after 4 specifically now that Ezreal comes up from the bot lane. So it looks like we're gonna have a full party of 10 at the Rift Herald dinner right now.
Yes.
Everybody's been invited. Now what's interesting is they're all hovering around that Rift Herald, but now the pings are coming in from both sides saying, hey, 50 seconds, next dragon's up. So it looks like the fact that the dragon's up, everybody's saying, okay, fine, we'll deal with the Rift Herald later. Let's go for the dragon.
Love to see it. Well, we're sitting at about a 3K gold lead for the red team. It doesn't really quite feel that way to me. It feels like all the lanes are pretty even, but we're going to see Scary come up here with a gank and maybe actually just, we're just looking. I'm going to turn around.
Yeah, I'll say it doesn't feel like it because actually the only lane that has a significant gold lead is the Twisted Fate has a 1500 gold lead over the Jace. But other than that, we got a fight going on, and Melio is caught out by herself in the jungle, in a very deep red jungle.
And he's going to try and contest here the Vi. He's going to go in, get some a stun card in, some autos in. Karma's going to have to be here to help support, but Jace is going to TP in, and they're going to get a shutdown on the Twisted Fate. I was just about to compliment how great the Twisted Fate's doing, 4-0-2, but just an aggressive play.
You prematurely caster cursed.
Yeah, in my head. In my head.
Killing spree.
And
Or
with
Kim
4
takes
on the
Drake.
and with 4 on the top side, they're able to take the Karma down. It is a trade for that dragon. As we look, it is a
Oh wow, look at this play here on mid. They're gonna try and burst down this mid turret, take the tier 2 turret, but the enemy team is scouting them out. They're gonna pull off of the Rift Herald, so they're not gonna get the Rift Herald buff, and they barely save their turret here, this tier 2. Honestly, I think that was a very, very smart move to go ahead and try and take that tier 2 turret. They're saying, hey, all right, you got your kills in the top lane. You can take the Rift Herald, but we're gonna take your base.
Let's see. I was thinking of something, I just completely lost it.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Twisted Fate, you said having like a 1500 gold lead at that point in the game, and he was easily down like 30-40 CS, but still is amounting like that much of a gold lead.
Yeah, right now it's a 1300 gold lead in favor of TF, and more or less that's the lead.
And he's yeah, you're right.
Aphelios does have a significant lead over his lane opponent, but that's offset by the Blitzcrank's gold lead over the Melio and the Karma's slight gold lead over Maokai right now. So there's kind of your gold leads right now. The junglers are more or less neck and neck. Of course, I go look around. I look at the items. Some players do need to have are getting some resets. I was about to say Vi has a half item on Sejuani, but that's just because Sejuani hasn't gotten a chance to back yet. We are looking like Supportal Combat is currently fighting for some vision in the river. They decided it was not the right time to fight, so they're gonna make sure they do it when the lights are a little brighter on them. Oh, I was gonna ask. This is a Chemcheck Drake, but I need some help reminding. What is the Chemcheck Drake changed, didn't it?
Shields, look at these shields coming in, keeping Mammoth alive. I don't think he's gonna live. But wow, was able to do quite a bit of damage there. Almost had an opportunity. Oh, look, Knockup's going to be here right under turret. Ultimate follows through. Only half health damage here.
That is, and that was both Flash and Ghost out of Aphelios, plus heal out of the Melio to finish that fight off. So
get that yellow card. There you go. Yeah, you don't want to be anywhere near those two, and I think they're still looking. Blitzcrank is going to try and be there to help support. Um, Sejuani's going to actually gank the top laner, and it's just going to take that shutdown. Probably should have given it over to the Ezreal, just to help them get further into this game, really get some gold back into their pocket, but a good shutdown nonetheless.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that rotation from Melio and Vi to rotate to the top lane to support the Twisted Fate left Aphelios kind of stranded out by himself. And with that engaged, Jace is able to take up another kill, so that is a 4-kill Jace in the mid lane with the Mana Moon fully evolved into the Muramana. With
Yeah.
the completed Yo moves and another Dirk that I assume is going to be an Edge of Night if my memory serves right, but whatever Corrin builds, I'll assume was the correct build.
Yeah. Um, Honestly, the Edge Knight works great. You got a Blitzcrank on the enemy team. You got Twist of Fate with the stun cards. You got Sejuani ultimate. That
Red team's turret
all
has
those
been destroyed.
abilities can be stopped with at least that one shield proc first. And um,
Oh,
I
even
want to
even
say
just even just even just a karma Q slow or the W root would be something great.
exactly. Uh, yeah, I mean, so a lot of our picks I think are being found around this mid line and also in the jungle. I find it that with the different changes to the maps, you know, this is not a place where you want to be caught. You don't have a lot of escape potential. Like you can still flash over the pit, but you have to scale a much further distance to get out of this river.
Yeah,
Um,
I've noticed this little corridor right here, both on both sides between the Raptor entrance and the entrance on the other side going to the blue buff, kind of creates this little crossroad void right there that just seems to be a naturally dangerous place to live on the Rift, especially when you're behind. Although
well,
talking about behind, remember that gold lead we talked about?
yes,
It's gone.
yeah, it is.
There is it is a 600 gold lead, not 6K, 600. That is literally a ruby crystal in a pot, or in a refillable, I
Jace,
should say.
Jace is trying to look for a flank here. The red team finally spots out this ward that they've been sitting on, and now the blue team is a little bit more in the dark on this Drake. They're going to go ahead and put a ward in. Scary's going to dash in, and they see Corn. Corn's on your back line with his karma. Where are
Maokai
you going
ult
to
does
fight?
come in. Everybody's going around. Right now, Sejuani's still trying to hit the dragon. Both jungles are on the dragon. Smite fight. Vi wins. Meanwhile, the fight going around. Many of the red members had to run away. Gold card is going through, but Vi follows up with the ultimate. There goes down the Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate did get a return kill onto the Melio with, I presume, a last auto or something of that nature. Uh, and it
Oh,
looks
it
like
gets
blue team is immediately turning to the Baron.
Eggboy making a comment about the Edge of Night, saying that it gets popped by the TF ultimate. I actually didn't know that. Just by it revealing the location. Um,
And he did actually build. He built the opportunity, the assassin opportunity. Uh,
knock up
meanwhile,
here.
meanwhile, we did have that
Oh,
Baron fight.
is that a TV behind? Okay, they were looking for something, but this karma has now been abandoned, and that's a free kill over to the enemy team. Blitzcrank trying to maybe look for something. They're really just trying to add some additional poke. Maybe they can hurt somebody. Ezreal ease forward, and that was a clear go button for the blue squad who says, "Oh, you're going to E forward? Well, we're going to kill you because you have no escapes now."
That is now a
So this,
Baron buff for blue side. They are now going to 5-man on the top side, see what they can get. It looks like it's just one turret, and they're backing off. No, I was saying Jace did build his item, this opportunity, which honestly is one of these items that I have not gotten to look at much. So I'm looking at it now.
I build it on all of my AD assassins. You get bonus lethality out of combat, and I find it to be a really great item.
I, it looks like in the assassin, especially in the, I'll say it, if you talk Jace in terms of assassin, that extra movement speed after
Yes.
involved with a kill. That because that helps you get the reset that normally Jace does not have much of a, I'll say, reset power.
Right. Feels like it'd be a great I if it would ever be in meta, but in ARAM you could probably build this item for a Jinx.
Oh,
Just gives you that
100%.
extra movement speed. Um, I sometimes see that lethality Jinx in my ranked games, and this Blitz crank pull is going to land on the Emilio. It's going to force out a flash and an ultimate, flash heal ultimate. Um,
Flash heal ultimate and some fancy footwork to dodge that Ezreal ult. But now the Ezreal ult's down, although I don't think that cooldown's too much longer. Blitzcrank is a
flash
little
Q,
overthink. Sejuani ultimate onto the Vi. Vi
the
is
stun lands.
re-engaging onto the TF. Everybody's kind of dogpiling. But Aphelios fortunately had the right guns for taking that decent amount of damage. Ezreal is almost dead. Blitzcrank is almost dead. Ezreal does die, and the Blitzcrank dies with the semi-dive.
And you can already see the opportunity proccing on that new item for the Jace, and he's able to secure that kill under turret onto Ezreal. And
And
as
what
strong
else?
as Karma,
Yeah, go ahead.
as strong as Karma is, we can see how late game this Maokai is just able to tank, you know, all the damage she's able to throw, and
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
I've lost you.
No,
Oh, here we go.
you're
We're
fine.
back.
I gotta figure out what setting that is.
Has been destroyed.
Okay,
Well,
I gotta figure out what. I'll talk to you about. I figured out what's going on. I just don't know how to stop it. But
okay,
anyways,
okay.
that was a siege onto the top lane. They took the inhib. They took the turret. Looks like they are going for the reset. I think there were a few pings. The next chem dragon is up in 40 seconds, so I imagine it's a reset by. Let's put this 6K, 7K gold lead into our items, and let's all go to the dragon. Let's stack that.
Yeah, they're looking at securing the Dragon Soul here for the blue side. Um, I kind of would have liked to see this for Kim take Drake Karma, um, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Little play around in the jungle as everybody's trying to posture for the jungle. Um, it's really funny. I know they didn't, but just the position of the wall feels like the river is so much wider, but it feels so much more dangerous trying to enter the river now.
Elias going ahead and busting Flash here. Um, Probably saw an opportunity where maybe something crazy was going to happen, but Blitzcrank hook misses here. They need to really step their way in and maybe get this kill on this Jace and try and secure this Drake.
Well, they did secure the Drake, but that did trade for now the Dragon Soul.
Blue team double kill.
Dragon Soul, Maokai is able to get onto the Ezreal, Vi is able to fully engage. This looks like it will be an ace.
Blue team quadra kill.
And that is an ace, a quadra kill over to Buttasaurus. And you can post that to the page. And as your team goes ahead, teleport in, and looks like they're just gonna throw in the forfeit.
They technically did the forfeit.
They said we don't want to see you knock down our inhibitor or our nexus. Wow, very cool game. Um,
All right, let's go.
you know,
Let's
the
go ahead and look at some of these advanced detail.
yeah, let me
Let's
see
see.
these.
Yeah, you're still seeing my screen.
Yeah,
Look at some of these advanced detail. Take a look at some graphs. Total damage to champions. It was Aphelios and Jace. It was a bit of a two damage comp.
yes. Late
Uh,
game Aphelios, late game Jace.
Total
Um,
damage dealt. That looks like a lot of Jace damage to everything.
well, how many games have you streamed tonight?
This is second game, so I got I think they're gonna play one more.
Okay.
Uh, my technical thing that I notice is when I spectate, when the game ends, right, it'll automatically minimize my league client and pull back up the whatever you call
A client.
yeah.
Uh, do you do you have it set to where your client closes whenever you're in game? If you go to your settings, you can enable like low spec mode,
Is
or
that in
close
my
client
clients?
during game.
Is
You
that
can set that.
is it here? You're seeing my stream, right?
Yeah. So like right there, it just says as needed. So you know, like right there under general,
Yeah.
you can see under that list right above account verification. You see how it says close client during game.
Yeah.
It says as needed. To me, like it should only close your client unless it needs um, to try and help you maintain your frames and
So is the answer never?
latency. Uh, if you don't want it to close your client whenever you're in game,
Yes. I if I'm in game, I never want my game to disappear.
right?
Okay. So I'm
Well, wait.
changing.
Are you saying it's closing out the game, or is it closing out the client? So like this,
Okay. Okay. There's the game. What is this? Is this the client or is this the game?
this is the client. So
Okay.
like,
So whenever the game physically ends, my client will pop back up and my game
correct.
will thus get minimized because I run on full screen.
Yes. But it when so wait so when you see victory, it does it just like minimize the game instead of like allowing you to click victory to close it out?
No, it's before victory even happens. It's
Oh, that's
actually
weird.
it's actually when so we're 3 minutes delayed. It's when their game actually ended.
Ah, yeah. I don't know. That's a client issue because also, can you invite me?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna try never. I'm gonna see if that does something. Uh,
I
eh,
that that probably won't affect it at all actually because
no.
um I say it probably won't affect it because you're saying that you're seeing this effect happen whenever like the
When I'm
game.
it's only when I'm in spectate.
Yes, but it happens like whenever their game ends, which
Yes.
to me that sounds like a client issue, not like the client itself, but like um a spectate tool issue.
Well, what it feels like is the client. So I whenever I play the game, I'll have the client icon and then I'll have the game icon.
Yes.
It's like when the game ends, the client icon refreshes, and because that was the last thing my computer took as an input, it minimizes my actual game and
Not to
lets the.
interrupt. Do you want to play or do you want to cast?
I mean, I could play. Dan, I mean, if
Uh,
you want to play, you're welcome to play too.
Yeah,
Well,
same with you, Dan.
I'm streaming right now. Do you? If I play, I'd have to turn the stream off.
How fast can you get back up, Malcolm?
I get the stream up.
Yep.
Uh,
If it's not within a minute, then maybe Malcolm runs it, and then we get Nature Dan in tomorrow. Thoughts?
that good with you, Dan?
Yeah, I'm not available tomorrow, but I'll find another night.
Oh,
I can I can throw up the stream.
You sure?
how about you get the stream ready, and then as soon as you're ready to go live, Dan cuts it off, and then you turn it back on.
Let's make it happen.
Done.
Cool. I'll let you all do that, and then once Malcolm, you hop back up in the chat, I'm gonna get everybody ready.
Okay.
So I guess I'm gonna play this game.
All right, you're leaving us.
I am leaving. I am leaving people. Hopefully they didn't all quit because this nature dad doesn't know how to run a stream. Uh,
No, that's not it. But I will say they're all gonna leave because you're such a great caster, and they're gonna be like, dang. That guy, he's out for the night, man. I'm done. No. All right. I'm ready to go live whenever you're
All
ready to
right.
cut.
Folks, thanks for hanging out with me. I'm going to go dead, but everybody make sure to jump right back on because Malcolm will be starting right up on this exact same channel. So peace out, y'all, and we'll see you in 5 seconds.